Is it true that things will never be the same? Most likely, especially with your upcoming changes.
I mean, I guess that's true. I won't be in the same place, but other than that, well, I'll have a new
After 2
roommate too.
years.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, for those of you that don't know, I will be moving a few days after this recording. We are moving.
Well, when this episode comes out, you'll be in
Yeah.
the middle of moving.
Yeah.
In case y'all want to stock Tyler.
But yeah, it'll be a 4-bedroom townhouse. We're having one of our homies, Carlos, moving with us, and it's dope. It's a really cool place, good location, good
Do you
price.
know what room you're getting at?
No, but I think I'm probably going to be in one with the shared bathroom because the layouts, honestly, from the video I've seen, just like look like they work better for like. I mean, because obviously with like us needing a setup and then like I mount the TV on my wall and then like the closet, like one of it would have been closet, window, bathroom, and then wall. So like it'd be hard to work around. And they're all pretty much like the same size, it looks like anyway. So like it's kind of just more of a convenience thing. But yeah, so it's exciting, man. It'll be my first like time moving out of like a place that like was mine, I guess you could say, because like obviously I mean I didn't have roommates or live on my own before I moved out here, so I was just moving out of my parents' house, but like I was just moving the stuff I had in my room, and even then like I didn't move my bed, I didn't bring my TV, like I just put whatever I could fit into my car and left, so it's a little bit different,
Yeah, it's a big difference.
We're going through all like the walkthrough stuff and like painting little holes and things like that, but
all the holes you punched out of when you had your anger rages.
Exactly, that's exactly what's going on here. So yeah, I still gotta take some things down and make sure whatever I gotta patch is whatever I gotta patch, but yeah, so that's exciting, once you get past all the drama of just moving stuff and moving truck and getting everything over there, and it's on the second floor, so we'll have to like move upstairs and stuff. So yeah, it'll be cool though. I'm excited to be on like we have like a balcony, which will be nice. Yeah, so it'll be cool, man. We're excited.
Well, welcome before we forget, because we've tend to do that a lot this season. So in case you guys are new or you're returning and you just forgot because you're just mesmerized by our faces and voices. My name's Gabriel.
I'm Tyler.
And we are the Catchin podcast, and here's our intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show's about to start. Introducing Catchin podcast.
Catching Up podcast. If you're not caught up, you're catching up.
I don't necessarily know what that means. Man, you didn't let me do something cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm tired of fancy
I want to
editing.
do one that's like, and you're watching the Catching Up podcast.
Oh yeah, like Disney. Yo, that would be sick if we did like our little cup logo.
It would, but I don't even know. Like, I'd have to look at the outline a little bit better to be able to do that.
Yeah, and we had the. Wait, do we have? No, we don't have fingers going around.
No, it's just the cup.
Anyways,
maybe one of the drafts we had at some point in time.
It's literally right here, so I don't know why I'm forgetting.
Yeah, so that's
all right. What's up with you, bro? Anything new? We haven't recorded in
anything
2 weeks.
new? Yeah, I'm moving. Duh.
Other than that,
other than that, not much, man. I'm just kind of, prepping for the new year. I'm starting to like, figure out some stuff acting wise. Gonna have a chat with my managers to kind of, see what we can do to bring in more opportunities for the new year. I'm starting to look at like different classes that I want to get into for next year, and starting to try to like plan that out. You could, because I really want to get back in person in acting classes, and I want to be, just having a different experience of training, I guess you could say. Like I want to just see what a new set of eyes can see in me and see the things that I need to adjust and change. And you never know, you learn something new from every coach and every teacher. So I'm excited about that. Church has been going great. Go every Thursday night. Went Sunday. It was like,
How was that?
it wasn't this past weekend, maybe the prior Sunday, because my girlfriend had a improv show and it was on Sunday. So
At church?
No. At her improv class.
I was like, whoa.
No, she had one. That's why I had Sunday off. And because usually I'm working
Jesus
Sundays.
is really cool, bro. And
That'd be funny. It was cool. I mean, Sundays are packed, man. Usually when I go on Thursday nights,
I
it's
bet.
chill. Like there's a good amount of people there, but obviously like, Sunday morning is the service that, people usually go to.
yeah.
So it's different. It's a lot louder in terms of like singing and just more energy in the room for sure. But other than that, it's good, man. I would really like to be more involved there in terms of like with some of the programs they do and stuff. But unfortunately, like I live an hour away from there, and so like,
Are you still going to be living an hour away once you move?
I mean, we're only moving like 5 minutes away from where we're at right now. So
And where is that? Just for our listeners?
it's in, it's in Culver City, CA. That's all you need to know.
Oh, you messed up.
He's like, you're gonna have thousands and thousands. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, man. And then of course just working. Work's been crazy because we're in the process of opening another store right now. So we've just
Didn't you guys just close one?
No, we didn't close one. We only have our flagship. And this will be our second one that we're opening about an hour away. Our flagship?
I think you said flag, and I was like, what?
No, our flagship store. Yeah, so we're opening a second store. So it's been busy there, just trying to get product over there, and also, we're getting product in, and it's been crazy, but it's good, So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it in terms of like things I've been doing. Trying to get back in the gym, because it's been hard with like all the moving stuff and work and just like a bunch of things going on. Like it's been harder to be a little bit more consistent that I like to be, because I was used to going to the gym 5 days a week back in Florida. I moved out here and like it's been a little bit harder. I've still been able to go like 3-4 days a week, but like I haven't been able to hit that 5. So like, which I'm fine with as long as I'm going 3-4 days a week. Like I'm okay with that. But I'd like to, be able to maintain that consistency and,
Also being in a relationship plays a role.
yeah,
too.
relationship, friendship, wanting to do things with your friends and then of course all the other things like I said that I have going on right now. It's just there's a lot, and then now it's the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So it's like trying to maintain the activeness with all the distractions that come with the holiday times as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Nothing too crazy.
Nice.
What about you?
I feel that though, just because like, I don't know if I mean, I'm sure if you look at all our episodes, you'll figure it out. But I'm taking a class, Evelyn's here. Right. So it's like I'm taking a class. I got a full-time job. I got a part-time job. I'm married. Like going to the gym is like really hard for me to do.
Yeah,
at least
tough.
on a consistent basis, or at least as consistently as I want to. So, I've been trying to get a grasp of that, but then like you said, now the holidays are coming up, and then it's like the classes always gets hard. Like every time I'm like, oh, I have time to go to the gym, or I have time to go to this. I'm like, oh my God, I got this homework to do.
Yeah.
Like it's just like really weird getting back into in the groove of that. Then we got the podcast, that takes time and things like that. So I understand like the juggle of it all is
Sure.
It's very hard, especially when we have our own side passions too. Like I know you got acting, you got auditions, especially you guys get last minute auditions. They're like, oh, you got to record this 5-minute monologue and in an hour.
Literally. It's crazy.
So it's like I get that's even like a whole different beast of like dealing with time management. But what's new with me? I was gonna say I'm pregnant again, but I don't want that. I don't need
from what's
everyone
new with
blowing
Gabe.
up. No. Okay. So new class is almost done, so that's fire.
Nice.
Me and my buddies are trying to meet up a lot, like more consistently to like work on music. So that's exciting. Like it's something that like every week we're like, oh, what days are you off? What days am I off? Oh, maybe we can switch these days. Like it's something that we all seem a lot more eager about, as opposed to I felt like I was like nudging them a lot and like telling them like, yo, let's go. So I feel like they're a little like they got after we did something. The first time we like actually like, sat down, because the first time it was just like hanging out, showing each other what we got, what we can do, and things like that. And the second time we met up together, like we actually like started making a song. Like we got like the melody, we got chord progressions and things like that, and it went really, really well. So it's like now we're like, oh, we got a taste of it. Now let's keep going. Let's keep going. So it's fun. So hopefully we'll be doing that this week. Holidays are coming up. My dad gets married. When this episode comes out, he gets married on Friday. So that'll be fun.
Congrats.
It's exciting.
Shouts to him.
Thank you. And then I technically just became an uncle because his about to be stepdaughter, she's older than me. She just had her kid.
Oh, wow.
So I'm technically about to be a step uncle officially.
Nice.
Which is exciting. That's cool. Congrats to her, and I'm happy for them. What else? I might get a new job.
Okay.
In the same company, and I'm gonna have to bleep this part out, so I'm about to cut it because I don't think I can talk about it, especially on the podcast.
If you can talk about it, you could always just tell me after. But up to you. If you.
No, because I want your reaction on the podcast. All right, so long story short, I got this opportunity to train at a different part of the hotel to bartend, and at first it was just supposed to be like a fill-in, like whenever they need help. But a position opened up, so nothing's guaranteed. I still have to train, but the possibility is there because and this is where I'm bleeping it out. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. And find that out on next week's episode. I'm kidding.
No, that will be Patreon only whenever that comes around.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, sometimes I hear stories like that. I'm like, yeah, my workplace drama is not that bad.
Not that
Not
bad.
that there's ever drama.
So,
like, I feel like every work situation has its qualms, for sure.
Yeah, qualms is a word. Yeah, so isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
I never thought I'd actually be like, oh my God, that actually happened in real life. And I know these people. Like you only hear these stories on like Instagram or Reddit or
it's
something.
Like out of a movie kind of type thing. Yeah, I mean, for sure, bro. It definitely happens probably a lot more than we think. So, it's unfortunate for sure. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. I'll ask the person if I can say it on the podcast. So if I bleeped it out,
we can give it YouTube exclusive. No. That way it doesn't get too many views just yet. I don't know. If somebody comes and looks, if our people who follow us come and look back, well, it'll be in the future at that point.
Well, bro, I was also thinking like that would have been great clickbait for our title.
He got what? Yeah. I mean that'd be crazy. Okay.
Cool. Potentially new job. If not, I got an opportunity to like learn new things, learn new skills that I've been wanting to learn. So either way, I'm grateful. Regardless if I get the position or not, I'm still getting the experience that I want. So bro, just a lot of learning, a lot of change, and we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
A lot of things happening, but I don't know any of it.
Well, speaking of change, I had a question that I thought of for you, and
oh gosh,
it's not really. I don't think it's really a difficult question. It's actually fairly easy. It's just so
12.
This is technically kind of your first time living with your now wife or significant other, I guess you could say, just for more relatability, because not everybody's married that moves in together. Because technically, you guys did live together to a degree.
But separate.
Yeah, but separate, right. So like, I guess my question is, how has it been living with your significant other? Like, did you have expectations? Did you think it was going to be one way? And again, like, it's only been for a few months. It's not like,
It's been since July, so it's been like what? July, August, September, October, November.
Yeah, a few months.
Yeah, so it's been like 4 months.
Uh,
I thought it was 6 months.
So yeah, it's not like, but just because obviously it's new, it's fresh. So, I've never lived with a significant other, but it's definitely something that I, one, as I grow in my relationship with my girlfriend, and two, get older, is definitely something that like I think about a lot and, desire a lot and want to happen one day. So, I guess, how has it been? Like, is there anything different? Do you guys coexist well? Does she like different furniture than you do? Like, I don't know.
All right. Well, first, I feel like to properly answer that question, I have to explain our prior situation.
Yeah, sure.
So just to make it fast, long story short, this is also the first person I've ever lived with, like significant other.
Right, because you've had roommates.
So I don't have any prior experience. I've had roommates, correct, and I have plenty of stories about that. But living with a roommate versus someone you're in a relationship with are two very different things. So the prior situation was when we started dating, I lived at my grandparents because I had some financial issues. So my grandparents were willing to open up their house to me, or not their house, but like a room, and then. So I lived there with my grandparents, and then she lived on her own, and then so that's like any normal relationship. Everyone knows that. Then she was able to move into my grandma's as well because of other issues, and then but it was a separate room, so we slept in separate rooms, but we lived in the same house together. But it was my grandma's house, so it was. So it's like we already knew kind of what to expect when we moved in, but it was never our space. Yeah. So obviously, like certain things we didn't do or didn't touch or didn't like even like necessarily need or think about because it's my grandma's house. So it's like you're respectful of her space, her things, and stuff like that. And same with my grandpa. So moving in, I don't think I necessarily had any expectations. I think. Granted, I can't fully speak for her, but I feel like it was just like the little things that like I guess neither one of us necessarily expected would like not. I guess there were things I did that I didn't think were gonna bother her, like meticulous little things. Like she doesn't like it when I put when I come home, I just throw everything I got on the counter, like the island. Like that's where I put my backpack, my fanny pack, my wallet, my keys, my phone. And she hates that. She wants, right? I mean, the washing machine is right next to the front door. So, but either way, so it's like that. Like to me, it's like, oh no, big deal. I'm putting my backpack on the counter. She hates that. So it's like, okay, like learning, like respecting each other of like, okay, like she doesn't like this, I like this, or I don't like this and she does like this, so that took some getting used to. And it's always like little things, you know what I mean? It's never like anything like dramatic, like like as a dude, I don't, or maybe it's just me, I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid from all the true crime we've done, but like she likes it when the shower curtain is closed. I hate that. That's exactly where I would hide if I'm hiding in someone's apartment. You know what I mean? Is like in the bathtub if the curtain is closed. Okay, yeah, correct. Sorry, not while I'm taking a shower.
I was like, isn't the water going to go everywhere?
No. Sorry. So it's like when you're done taking a shower, like I usually leave it open, mainly because of safety. Like I don't know if someone's hiding behind the shower curtain. Right. That's where I would hide if they always kept it closed. If I'm trying to sneak into someone's house, So it's like for me, I always want to keep it open. But for her, she would rather it closed. So then I'm like, it's like training yourself to like remember like little things like that. But other than that, bro, like other than like the little tiny things, it's great. Like I love it. Like she's great. I love her dearly. And likewise, I feel like we're both very good at wanting to make the other happy. So it's like
Yeah.
I try to be on top of remembering things that make her happy, and she I don't think she needs to think about it because she always does it. But it's really nice having our own space.
Sure.
Like I feel like I didn't realize like how much that really would affect a lot of things with being at my grandparents. Because at first I was like, oh, bro, we spend time together all the time. But it always had to be in her room or my room because my grandfather wants to watch TV, and that's totally fine. It's his house. But now it's like I'm never in my room because I'm always in the living room.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like having that. We don't necessarily need to be quiet after a certain time because my grandparents aren't asleep. I mean, they are in their house, but that's the nice part. Like if we want to watch a movie at 3 a.m, like we don't have to worry about the volume other than like the neighbors.
Sure.
We want to have a sleepover in the living room. We can. It's nice, and then it's cool making like memories for the first time of like our own things, like getting our first set of pots and pans.
Right.
Like, I felt so old talking about that, but that was something exciting. We just bought our first Christmas tree and like decorated it. Like that was something cool.
Yeah.
That was something that like, it's a memory that we're gonna share forever. Right. We're like buying plants for the apartment together and things like that. So it's honestly really fun. We get along really well. Obviously, it's a relationship, so we have our ups and downs.
Yeah, of course.
And that's also nice not being away from my That's nice being away from my like having our own space. Not even like my grandparents. Like doesn't matter who it is, just having our own space because if we want to argue, we can argue. We don't have to like, oh, like what if they hear downstairs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like having that freedom of like this is our space. Is awesome, bro. I genuinely love it. I don't really have like any complaints. She's awesome. If you ever meet my wife, like she's a great person. Like she gets like she's one of those people that like if you don't like her, you're the issue. Me, that's the total opposite. I'm definitely the issue a lot of times.
Well, we get along well because we always are joining in on our roast of him. So.
Yo, it's not even funny. Today it happened. Like anytime my wife like posts something embarrassing or honestly anything of me, Tyler, she's always like, Tyler said this about you. Yeah,
because I feel like I would call out the same things. You know what I mean? Like
I'm just trying to live my life.
No, I mean I always found that interesting because, it's not an experience I've had before. It's one I didn't, I guess necessarily think about a lot. In like prior relationships or situationships but I think it was something for so long where like I just didn't know when that would fit into my life. And I think when you meet the right person, like you'll be like, oh, like you start to get that desire there and that want there. And then it's like also but I think there is something of like two joining into one, because even though you guys are together and you love each other and you spend a lot of time together, it is different living with people. It's like if you move in with your best friend, like you guys can be best friends for 10 years and then you move in together and like he does this or she does this and like you're like, wow, I never knew that about you, because like a lot of the time you're not with the person 24/7 or like how they like things, like the shower curtain thing, right? And some people would be like, oh, well, I'm not going to budge on that. It's like, so are you in that relationship where like you guys are willing to compromise and hear the other person out on why they like this or why they like things that way, So yeah, it's something that I'm excited about and hopefully can make happen some point soon in the future. Not for at least a year because I just signed a lease. So locked into that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, bro, I would say like if it wasn't for us living at my grandma's first, I think it'd be a very different experience because it would be completely new all at once versus I felt like half of it was new at one point and then the other half was new the other point or past a certain point. So it was cool like having like the like little adjustments. Like continuous little adjustments and continuous little learnings of how the other one lives, as opposed to just like never before and all together now.
Yeah. Which
you
I think
know?
is it's kind of interesting in like my relationship too, because I typically go and spend my off days over at my girlfriend's apartment. So like I'm there, 2 days back to back, which I think is like different than like being there for a night or being there for a day. Like being there 2 days back to back, like I mean, I'm like staying there for a couple days. Now, the difference is that like I'm obviously, I would say, a little bit more mindful because it's not my place. Like I'm very quick to like, if I cook something, like I want to clean things up fast, which I do here too. I'm not one to like leave my stuff sit around anyways, but I still think is a little bit different, but it kind of is in that realm of like, okay, we're getting a taste of that, and, but again, it's not like my house that I come home to every day and like I need to clean and make sure everything's put away in its place, so yeah, it'll be interesting, because again, you're just combining two lifestyles, but I'm excited for it, man, especially like whenever I go on. I had this question because whenever I go on like my runs, like around the neighborhood, like I'll see houses because we live across right now the little neighborhood we're in.
He just be stalking with the
No,
binoculars while
like
he's
so
running.
we live. Our neighborhood is across from another neighborhood that like has really nice houses. So like I'll usually run through there and like just getting to look at the different houses and kind of picture like, oh, I would like that one, and like, or that one's kind of cool. It has like that more cozy aspect to it, and then like you start to have thoughts and things like that about it, and you're like, man, like that'd be really cool to have. Obviously, a house is further down the line probably for both of us, but it's a cool thing to think about. So I just was like, I wonder if he has any thoughts on that because he's in that situation currently.
Yeah, we got very because I know you asked about like, do we like different things of like how to decorate the house and stuff, and we got very fortunate, which I think it'll be very different. I think we will start disagreeing when we start purchasing things.
Sure.
But we got very fortunate to where like a lot of the stuff like we got given to us, like our coffee table, our couch, our bed, the chairs outside on the patio, like all that stuff like were given to us, whether it was family or friends. So it's like we didn't have to like go out and shop. Like if we like went couch shopping because we didn't have a couch at all, maybe we would have very much so disagreed. So it's like luckily we haven't really had to run into that. Like I picked the entertainment center but then we ended up agreeing on it. You know what I mean? The bar stool is the only thing we're missing, so I guess like I'll let you know with that one.
Well, also it's a little bit different because you guys are still in an apartment, right? So like it's not a house that like you're furnishing and decorating and putting a lot of thought into. It's actually funny you mentioned that because me and my girl we went into this furniture store the other day just to like look around and have fun because I'm moving. We're like, oh, why not just see what's up, And I think it's weird. I think we have similar tastes, but I think with different tastes at the same time. Like
for sure.
I like things a lot more, at least right now. Again, like I don't really, she's definitely more the designer. I think she probably has more tasteful, design.
A better
picks,
palette.
Yeah, a better palette for things of like, making it look cohesive and flowy. And me, I'm just like, man, that looks really comfy. I want that. Like a big, like, fuzzy
like
couch.
red baseball shape
or
couch,
like something like our beanbag. You know how they have like those love sacks? They're like really big versions of these that are like memory foam. I'm like, I just want like 10 of those, bro. Like just plop on them anywhere, So like, but that's very
facts.
like, I think I have a very like just more mentality. Like I just want to sit in something, like melt into it, versus I think she's more like, no, like I want it to be comfy, but I want it to look like good too, So it'll be interesting. I don't really find myself to be especially on things like that. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out one day, but I'm not super like locked into things either. Like I'm pretty like malleable in those areas. Like, yeah, sure. As long as I'm not like, no, I just can't do that. Right. Which is like probably not most things, but I did sit in this massage chair they had, bro.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It had like a roller on the feet. It had like literally there was not a part of your body that was not being hit by something, like either compression or a massager or okay, everything that your body is touching. But yeah, like it was like, cause I've been in a couple massage chairs before, but this one was like some new technology, bro. It literally like scanned my body and then like went to the parts. I don't really know. It was really cool, but I'm like, again, that's one of those things that's a little bit more just for funsies. But yeah, now, second question of the evening, which we'll get into the nitty gritty of the stuff here. No, I'm kidding.
Geez.
No, so I thought it would be cool for us to, because obviously people have been watching this podcast, and I'm sure like if, with our incorporation of like our faith and us talking about it, some people might have questions about Christianity, or some people might have questions about, delving into a faith. So what would be something like a piece of advice that you could give somebody, or where do you think somebody should start if they are curious about Christianity, or if they are curious about delving into faith? Like what would be your jumping point into, figuring that out for them? I have an answer if you need to think, but if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Just because I feel like that's such a broad question
is.
when everything's a little like it's like I feel like I don't have I have to think about it because I don't have like broad answers. I have like specific answers for different situations.
Yeah. Well, I guess
so. Give me your answer so then I see where your head's
my
at.
question is, I guess more so just like if they're curious about it, or they're learning about it, and they're like, okay, like I don't know. They're in that state of like I don't know, And I guess for me, one that like I'm always gonna go back to, and it's probably because it's how my faith started, was just by praying. I think by just talking to God, like starting that prayer is such a powerful thing, because I think then, once you call out to him, and it doesn't, I know some people get caught up in like, oh, well, do I need to pray a specific way, this or that? Like, no, like I genuinely say just pray in Jesus' name and just ask him to guide you. Ask him to give you guidance. Ask him to make things clear for you. Ask him to reveal himself to you, and ask him to just lead you to where you need to be going. And I think that's such a powerful thing. And that's literally what led me to, along with people as well, like some friends offering me to go to church, some friends encouraging me to join them, right? So like, but again, I believe that those are all things that God placed in my life once I started praying. And then from there, I do think like, obviously you do have to be, I guess you could say, proactive or reactive to things that happen. So like, again, let's say I started praying and my friends are like, hey, do you want to come to church? And I did turn it down a few times, but eventually I said yes, right? If I kept saying no, and didn't ever give it a shot, like you have to be willing to open your heart and open your mind. So that is a huge thing. But I think once you start praying, you will start opening your mind and your heart. And then the second thing I could say would be to read the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because they are going to be speaking of the time that Jesus was alive, and that's literally the gospel. And I think they are also the parts of the Bible where, yes, there's still a lot of parables and stories and things that might be confusing, but it is going to be the easiest for you to see what Jesus was trying to communicate. And I feel like that's where you get the real sense of like, okay, do I want to believe in Jesus? Do I want to follow him? I think you get from those four gospels. So those would be like my two in tandem, right? Prayer first, and then starting to delve into the Bible. But like, again, even when you do read the Bible, I think it's huge to pray and ask the Holy Spirit and Jesus to guide you in that. So that's why I think starting with prayer is such an important thing and a powerful thing. And, that was just for me. And so that's what I can recommend to others. Some people might have an encounter. Some people might this or that. Like there's all types of way that people come to their faith. But like for people that are curious, that would be my advice.
Okay. Obviously, that's exactly what I would say. So I'm over here. I'm just trying to think of two different things.
It doesn't have to be two either.
Just to switch it up.
Be one thing. Which yeah.
Well, yeah, but just to piggyback off those, because like other than praying and reading the Bible, like, all you got really left is go to church. So I would say you got to open your mind by not having expectations.
That's good.
Because I think when people are going and like, even if it's not just Christianity, if they're just looking for an answer and they're like looking for what is true, what is the reality of things, and like you build expectations. Like you can't. I think it was the episode that came out 2 weeks ago. Well, whenever this comes out, it'll be 2 weeks ago, where we were talking about like where what you ask and you shall receive, right?
Yeah.
You can't. You don't know what that answer is going to be. It's like talking to God is like talking to a person. You can control what you say, what you think, and how you react, but you can't control what the other person is going to say, think, and react.
Yep.
So God's the same way. You can't ask him for this to make me rich and make me have a song that has 1 trillion streams next week, because that might not be the answer I need.
Sure.
That might not be that's not even like asking him for him to, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that was just a bad example, but I feel like a lot of people go into praying, into reading the Bible, and going into church with like expectations of like, oh, this is gonna happen, or how do it, like I feel like they overthink it. How do I hear God?
Yeah.
I don't hear him. Well, probably because you're just looking for one specific way.
Yeah.
You're probably like expecting some random voice to just come from the sky and a light beaming down saying, yo, this, take a left here, and all your problems are going to be solved. Like, that's not how that works. So it's like, and patience. I think those are the two things, just to piggyback off what you said, because
great.
Obviously
I think that
those are the two
it
A's.
makes a lot of sense, because I think those go so hand in hand with like, you know, the advice of how to get started, but also to like what to be cautious about, right? Because again, like by me saying like start praying, get a prayer life, and then he'll lead you there, right? Well, if you're not aware of the signs, but also if you're looking for some, again, like magical sign or magical voice to like just randomly come out of nowhere, like it's not gonna I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, right? But like, you know, because things
true.
do line up oddly sometimes, and he always, you know, he does miracles and things of that nature. But you know, to our point, it's that's not always how it is. Like again, for me, I started praying and I was still not wanting to go to church. I was still not wanting to open my heart, and it was just over time I came to that opening and that you know, releasing the hardening that I had over my heart and my mind of it. And also I think it's just such a good thing which you pointed out about like the expectation, because I think a lot of people also don't realize that, like, you know, once you come to your faith, right, and you start asking God to guide you and lead you where you can best serve him, where you can best serve others, it might lead you in a different direction than you're currently going, or that you currently want to be going. And I think some people might throw them for a 180. They're like, hey, well, you know, I'm trying to do this thing, and I'm really good in my faith, and I'm praying, and I'm changing, and but you're telling me to go this way. And it's like, yeah, because that's the direction that like God needs you to go at that time, right? Like that's the direction that he is seeing best fit for your life. So it's like, you're going to listen to that calling, or are you going to continue doing it your way? And that is one of the biggest, and I think also one of the hardest things to really like comprehend as well, and to put your like trust into, because again, sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves and the things we want to do, and again, you're asking like, hey, can I get this role, for example, like as an actor, right? Like if I'm like, can I please get this role that I really want, and I don't get that role, it could be like, oh, well, why didn't you answer my prayer? Or like, you know, why this, why that? And like, no, maybe at a different direction for me years down the line of why I'm getting this role. And, you know, maybe if I would have taken that role, it would have taken me down a different path. But God was like, no, I have this path for you, which is much better. You can't see it yet, but it's much better. But it goes with all things of that nature. So I think that is a great thing. You can't have these expectations of like, oh, I'm going to delve into my faith and everything I want is going to happen. Like, no. A lot of the times, I mean, it probably it may or may not, but also like you may be called or feel this conviction to go another way. And it's like, you have to be willing to be open to accepting that and being willing to follow that, right? And so I think that is such a good thing. I think it's something that people need to be wary about, because I think sometimes you can think it's going to be this one way and it's not, and there's a lot that goes into it, so and it is, honestly, it is a lifestyle change as well. Like once you really start getting into it, like you'll notice yourself wanting to change certain things, and obviously, of course, that is the work of the Holy Spirit and the work of Jesus renewing you. So yeah, I think that's a really good baseline for if somebody's curious, or they just don't know where to start. And then again, if they do start, like the things that come along with that as well. So yeah, and also like I think a big thing is like just finding a good church, which I think can be kind of hard nowadays. I was even talking to one of my friends back home, and she was telling me she was kind of, she was looking to kind of, explore faith, but she's had a hard time finding church. And she's also was saying how like she was going to potentially try out this progressive church, which I don't really know what that means, but I don't think it sounds like it's sticking true to the Bible. I don't know. But you know what I mean? There are so many churches nowadays that can try to twist the word.
Well, I was having a conversation, not to cut you off, but I was having a conversation with some coworkers literally like 2 days ago, and how the reason there's so many different types of Christians, so many different branches, is because people read the Bible and interpret it differently, and they say, no, I think it means this, or I don't agree with this, so I'm going to go do my own thing. So it's like, I think that's why reading the Bible, praying, and like trying to figure out what you believe before finding it. Like if you don't go to church at all already,
sure.
Like I feel like figuring out what you kind of agree with, or have an idea of what you agree with, and you could start feel that moral compass develop, I feel like that will help you pick your right church. Because if you don't know anything and you just start going to the first church you see, who knows? Like there's been so many people that are misleading and different styles of preaching, and it's so easy to judge from the outside. So like
yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those things where I know people that think God created everything, but He doesn't know everything. As in, like a tsunami hits tomorrow, they think God's like, oh my God, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like He didn't know it was coming. You know what I mean? But then that's like a completely different God than what I believe in. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, especially nowadays with social media and all these different churches can have live stream services and stuff like that. Like but there is that thing of like there are some churches or pastors even that like just don't teach the word as it is in its truthful form, and bending
Correct.
things. But I think one more thing to tackle on top of all this is also having grace for yourself. I think a lot of people think, oh, well, once I become a Christian or once I become whatever it is, right, I'm just going to stick to Christianity because that's what I follow and that's what I know. Once I become a Christian, I have to be perfect. Or so they get scared. It's reluctant because they're like, once I say I accept Jesus, like I have to be perfect. And it's like, no. Number one, if anybody else on this earth could be perfect, there'd be zero need for a savior. So like,
True.
So like that's something to always keep in the back of your mind is like, we're always going to fall short of the grace of God, but like, or we're always going to fall short of the glory. Like we'll never be perfect, but like becoming a Christian is allowing Jesus and the living word of God to change your heart, to change your mind so that you turn from your old ways, you repent from your old ways, you or when you do, you learn to lean into prayer. You learn to lean into his understanding versus just trying. Like I even hear so many times people are like, oh, well, I'm trying not to. And it's like, well, it's so interesting. It's such a hard thing to grasp because it's not a thing of trying. It's a thing of leaning on understanding and learning and growing and praying, asking forgiveness and repenting. And it because it's not a works thing, right? Like you're not working your way to God. He worked his way to you. And now you just have to accept him and change, right? And if you accept somebody as your Lord, you will want to follow their ways. You'll like your beliefs will follow their beliefs. And so it's like just allowing yourself. But again, it's not overnight. It's not overnight for anybody, me, him, any pastor you see, nobody. And nobody's perfect, right? So like that's one of the biggest things is like just because you come to a faith doesn't mean you're all of a sudden this perfect person. And I think that's such a big thing that like people everywhere need to hear, because all the times I see so many harsh criticisms and judgment on like a Christian if they mess up, or somebody of another faith if they mess up. Oh, well, I guess that must be what that religion's teaching. Like, no, they're still a human. They're still flawed. They still make mistakes. They still have a flesh that they are, and spiritual warfares that are battling with every day, as is everybody. So it's like just having that grace. And like, I think we don't have grace in life nowadays. I mean, you make one mistake and boom, you're canceled. Or you made a mistake 10 years ago and it's like, oh, we found that and it's like, I'm not even like, I don't even know who that guy is anymore, bro. Like I was 15, So it's crazy. And I think it's something we need more of in today's society. So, I think that could be a good little conversation for somebody who is looking to, delve further into their Christianity. And if you guys have any questions for us or about my journey or his journey or anything like that, we're always looking for questions and we'd love to answer them and tackle them. So yeah.
There's my favorite video that I saw online one time, and it was like, he's like, oh, if I want to go to church or like become a Christian, do I have to stop drinking? The guy's like, no. Do I have to stop smoking? No. Do I have to stop having sex? No. Do I have to stop? He just started naming a bunch of like sins, basically, or things that people think are taboo, and you know what I mean, like the stereotype of like, oh, Christians don't do that. Like he started listing a bunch of things, and he said no to all of them. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He goes, you don't have to stop any of that. He's like, because God's gonna show you what you need to stop, or what you need to start.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He said the closer you get to God, the more you develop a relationship with him, and he starts revealing himself to you. It's like a relationship, right? I didn't know in the beginning that my wife didn't like the shower curtain open. But the more we get close, the more we communicate, the more we start understanding each other. Right. I understand that I need to close the curtain. I need to not leave the backpack on the counter. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. But like it's literally a relationship. And the more you do it, the more you open up, the more you accept, the more you learn, your life will start changing in accordance.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's facts.
And I mean, it's also just
drop the mic.
I think I heard it on George Janko's podcast where he's like, you don't get into the shower clean, right? You get in the shower and you rinse off all the dirt, and like that is, you don't. So again, it's a matter,
unless you take a shower back to back.
Yeah, but it's a matter of like people, because people might try to twist that and be like, oh, so you can be a Christian and do all these things. No, the thing that he's saying is that like in order to start going to church, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, or like just because you went to church once, you're now perfect. Like it's a process, like everything else in this life, it's a process. And so like, again, some people can be scared because they're like, oh, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like let you, that's why you let him do the work. He will do the work. He will reveal things to you. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how when you start praying more and you start leaning like on his understanding more, like things reveal to you. You're doing something, and like you're just like, man, like I see this now. I'm like, you're like, it's weird. It's so hard to explain, but it's like you have a different feeling about it, or like you're in a conversation and maybe you react the way that you don't want to be reacting, and you're like, you feel yourself almost kind of getting into like a monitoring thing, but it's him revealing like, hey, like I'm showing you this is how you're reacting right now. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to change that? Okay, well, if you want to change that, read the word. Learn how to grow from that. Learn how to get better. Learn how to become a more loving person. Learn how to become a more understanding person who listens, who is there for somebody and is actually curious about their interests. So yeah, it's a really
Relationships don't grow without time being put into them.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that is missed so much, and it's hard, man. I'm up here preaching the choir. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not out here saying like I do all these things amazingly. I don't. I try my best, but like I don't always. So like, you know, it's always things that I can work on myself. So that's why like I share them here, and I'm sure that's the same reason why he shares them, so that like we can all grow together. We can all be in this together, and we can all, you know, grow a relationship together, because that's what we want. We want a community of people who can just be honest and real and be there for each other, you know, and that's what we hope to create here, with faith and along with every other thing. So, you know.
Yeah. I do have something to tell you though about my detox update.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing photography at a wedding. I was helping my friend Yanela. She's a phenomenal photographer. She needed a second shooter, so I was able to help her. And it was like towards the end, and like everyone's having fun. I'm like vibing with everyone. Turns out like the couple that got married, a bunch of them, like half of them went to my high school, and then the other half went to like the neighboring high school that was like created while I was in high school. So like we had like a high school split, and they're all like a year or two younger than me. So it's like a lot. Like it took like a couple hours, but I was like, dude, you guys all like seem so familiar. Like we weren't like friends. Like I didn't really know them, but it was like I'm like, you look familiar. I was like, your names sound familiar. The way you guys are acting seems like me and my friends. So I was like, where'd you guys go to high school and things? So we were getting along. It was great towards the end, and then right at the end, the bride's like, you guys need to take a shot with us. So you know you can't say no to the bride on her wedding day. So we took a shot. So I'll give that happened.
Okay.
And then it was Manny's birthday.
Here
on
we go.
Sunday. So it was just because it was his birthday. Yeah. We had a couple drinks. But I realized that because I went so long without drinking, I also had my first hangover. Maybe that's because I'm 25.
It's funny. It's like yes,
maybe that's just because I just turned 25 too, so I'm getting old because I've never had a hangover before.
You've never had one?
That was crazy.
I thought you just meant first time since like, I don't know, because like your tolerance reset a little bit or something. They suck, don't they? Huh? Terrible.
Yeah, and apparently I didn't even have one that was that bad.
I fortunately have not had one in a while because I haven't drank enough to have one in a while. But man, they are like, I remember waking up and going and serving after like being out at the club all night and drinking, and it was just the worst. I was like, I don't know how, bro, even like looking back on it, right? That was only like a few years ago, and looking back on it, I'm like, how did I do that? How? Like,
bro, my manager literally was like, do you need a hug? Like, you just look like you need a hug.
Bro, because I'm like, nowadays, right? Like, even if I get like a little bit less sleep, I'm like, it's not that I'm like, you know, grumpy or whatever, but like I'll be at work and I'll feel it, right? So I can only imagine like being on even less sleep, having drank the night before, probably not having any good nutrients in my body. Like it's crazy how in your 20s, like every year you start to like, yeah, again, we're not over here saying we're old, but like you do start to like realize like the stuff you could do when you were 21, 22, when you're like 26, 27, it's two different worlds, you know? So
Oh yeah, the other day I was trying to like, I did a handstand and I overshot it, so and then I fell on my back and I was like, all right, whatever, bro. I could not sleep that night. My hip hurt so bad. Like, bro, my hip, but like the whole next day I was like, oh my god, I'm dying. But before I used to like. We used to do like those. You remember the course that we used to do with the like, bro,
Chorus.
like we'd fall, we'd hit our
Yeah.
hands, like we'd like and things like that, and it's like we were fine, like
Yeah.
nothing ever happened, and now I'm like I just fell one time and my hip hurts for 2
Friggin'
days.
you,
Like what the
you
heck?
did a backflip when we were in Vegas and landed on your bum, and you were fine.
And I was fine.
You were like,
I
yeah,
was
let's
fine.
go. It was funny. Maybe we'll roll that clip sometime in the near future.
Do you have it? I don't think I have it.
I think it's got to be sick.
I was doing
Somebody's
backflip,
got
the
it. I
backflip,
know
so I can't.
somebody's
Someone's got
it.
This is the video of me doing a backflip in Vegas.
Oh, you want to cue it right
or
now?
attempting to. Might as well.
He's like, if they made it this far in the episode, they deserve to see it.
Yeah, for real. We're like
so
an hour
comment down
in.
below if you saw the clip, because if you did, you're a real one, number one. And number two, you're also probably one of the only ones to know, because we didn't say this in the beginning of this episode, this perhaps might be our last episode. Not ever, just of the season.
Correct. Just this season. This might be our season finale, and the only reason we say might is we got a lot of moving parts, a lot of brand deals. No, I'm just kidding. Unless you want to sponsor us, let us know.
Yeah, we don't.
We just got a lot of moving parts, holidays coming up, so we're trying to make time, but we might not be able to fit it in.
Yeah.
I know you want to say something because I keep cutting you off.
Well, I was just gonna say it's a matter of like, if it is, we'll obviously know by the time this comes out, so it'll say it in the title. So like you guys will know, but like we wouldn't have like addressed it. But I think it would be cool if we can maybe next week try to fit in, even if it's like a 30-minute like final thoughts on the season.
Peace, chow.
Yeah, type thing. So
a peace, chow episode.
That could be the title. So yeah, we'll try to make that happen. But if not, it's been a great season. There's been a lot of growth in not only from the channel, but I think in both of us and where our directions in life and the direction we want to take the podcast. And I think it's really coming into the podcast that we've always dreamed of it being, the podcast that we've always wanted it to be, even though like, I don't know, sometimes it still might seem a little disorganized or this or that. Like we're finding our way. And like with each season, I think we're going to continue to just find a way to, lock that in more and more. But I think it was definitely, at least on our side, like we're really happy with the interactions we've had and in terms of like views. We've gotten more views this season. We've gotten more personal this season. We both have been great about just bringing our life experiences and our vulnerabilities to the podcast, and I think that's something that we've always wanted. And it's it took us a little bit because we were coming from a podcast where like we rarely ever got personal. We were talking about other people's stories. And then we're coming and doing our own.
There's a lot of research.
Yeah, and now we're coming to our own first season and kind of figure out what that looked like. And then for this season, it just shifted in another direction. And I think it's something that me and him are very excited about to continue about. I mean, I was even talking with him the other night, and I'm like, man, like this is probably. I mean, we've been podcasting for 2 years. And I'm like, this is one of the
almost 3.
Almost, yeah. It's coming up on a while. And this is the first time where, like, I don't want to take a break. Like, unfortunately, we have to because it takes a lot of time to edit. Obviously, I as we've, like, stated before, we both live very busy lives. So, like, he has a little bit more time to edit, I would probably say. But, like, even with me, it does take a little bit longer because I'm piecing things up, figuring out which ones to make clips of.
Our what we edit is very different. So they take, like, my editing takes less time than his does.
And so it's like, we need time to catch up on that. But, it's even to the degree of like, I'm like, okay, how do I get this done as fast as I can? So that way we can start the season, faster. So, we're in a really good space. And I think that's something we've always, wanted. So it's all good from here. And we, we can't wait to continue on.
Yeah. So, we love you guys. If this is our last episode of the season, we love you. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you next season. And if not, I guess you're getting a surprise episode next week.
Yeah. So either we'll see you in the next one or we see you in the next season. I don't know. You got to find out on the next episode.
way,
of
it's the next
Catchin' Up
one.
podcast.
Yeah. And remember, if you're not caught up, you're catching up. So make sure to go back, see what you missed out on. And also, make sure to stay for the end of the episodes because we leave little Easter eggs. If there's another episode, you're the only one that's going to understand why the episode's called Peace Chow. And once again, in case you forgot, my name is Gabriel.
Video gets 0 views. My name's Tyler.
That'd be crazy. We love y'all. Peace.
Peace, ciao.
Peace, ciao.